discuss it with you. 400-4040. Email info@romikadesigns.com or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Accelerated Graphics and Signs, 101 East Renfro, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, can handle all of your graphic needs. Need a banner or promotional products for your business? They got you covered. T-shirts and caps for your group. All you need to figure out is if you want them screen printed or embroidered. How about some slick graphics on that hot ride to make you stand out from the crowd? Accelerated Graphics and Signs can handle anything you throw at them. Located at 101 East Renfro Street, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleburne, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to No Judgment here. I am your host, Tish Ross. Bullying has been prevalent and children's lives are at risk. Suicide attempts and lives lost to suicide because of bullying is at an all-time high. Why? What's going on in our schools? We need help, and for whatever the reason, parents and their children are not receiving it or are not being heard. This is the second show on this topic on No Judgment here, and I am offering my platform for both students and parents to use their voices. My hope is that someone is listening, that these families are being heard, and that someone will do something about this. This needs to stop. Now, we want to also say that not across the board are all principals, administrators, and teachers. We're not saying that every single teacher or administrator or principal is at fault for some of the things that we're going to be discussing tonight. But we know that there are some, unfortunately, that are. And I even hate to say that, but it is the world that we are living in now. We're not talking just about Johnson County, Tarrant County. We're talking about statewide. The one thing that I want to say in opening up, first of all, I want to thank you all that are listening and tuning in. If you could hit share if you're watching and you're listening, that would be great. The other thing is if you have a family member or a friend that does not have or is not on Facebook or on social media, this is simultaneously uploaded to YouTube and other podcast platforms. You can share this message with them. It's a deep one. One thing I want to say is I, as well as the radio show manager, as well as my guests that are here tonight, we shared and shared and shared, and I have invited and invited and invited. Listen, my kids are old and have aged out of school, but I have this platform that I want to be open for parents and students to come on so that you guys can be heard. And something that one of my guests and I were saying, Cassandra's one of our guests tonight, we were saying that you would think that there would be parents and students lined up outside of this door, wanting to get in, wanting to be heard. And I have 4 seats filled. And that breaks my heart. It makes me super sad. We discussed maybe the whys, the reasons why behind parents, students didn't come in. I have one student who's super brave to be here and share about her experiences being bullied. And I didn't have anybody else that wanted to come on, and that they didn't want to use this platform. Again, my students have aged out, but I'm behind. I stand behind these parents and students and the good teachers and the good principals and the good administrators that are trying to put a stop to this. That is the reason why I wanted to host the show. And again, it's the second show that I've done on bullying. But I want to welcome my guests. And 2 of my guests actually do not have children that are in any of the school systems, which is another thing that's really shocking to me. They homeschool their children, but they are here. As one of the things that they said was very important is that our students are our future, and that is why they are here. So 2 parents whose children are not even in the school district, but they are here to support those children that are in the school district and that are having issues with this bullying. We're going to go around and we're going to introduce ourselves, and then I want to find out why you're here. And I want to hear from Emily, who is the student that is in 8th grade at a school here in Johnson County. And we're going to start to my right. I want to welcome back Tish. Tish, introduce yourself for those people that missed the first story or the show regarding bullying. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
I'm Tisha. I'm Emily's mom. I started this whole journey because I felt very alone. And it brought to light that there's a bigger issue than just my child. And that the fact that very little has been done or is being done. Just by personal experience, one of her bullies is still in the same classrooms.
And what is your personal experience with it? What has happened to your daughter?
The first experience was a girl in Emma's school wanted to lure her into a field and stab her with a screwdriver. That was said behind her back. She had no idea, and she would have gone with this girl. Like, it could have very well happened. The second one was, I guess, at the end of 6th period. I guess a girl bumped into her. Emma thought she was playing, so she kind of bumped back. And then it escalated to where this girl pulled her hair so hard that hair was coming out, hit her in the back of the head. Emma turned around and I guess slapped her. And then the girl proceeded to kick her in the knee and left a bruise. And that girl, not much happened on that one. She was found not bullying.
And so what have you done? What as a parent have you done specifically in terms of communicating with the school? Have you contacted the bully's parent, or what have you done to try to protect your daughter?
I was going to contact the parents of Emma's bully because she was Emma's friend at one point, and Emma had her on Snapchat. Well, a feature on Snapchat, if you don't turn off your location, it immediately puts your exact location where you're at.
Mhm.
So I know where Emma's bully lives, but I didn't want the confrontation, which my gut feeling was right, because that parent went to the school and wanted nothing done to her child. Like she came up there extremely mad. I did contact the police. We have a police report. I'm looking at pressing charges. I'm just waiting for the Juvenile Justice Department to contact me if they're willing to take the case. I don't have much hope on that. But
Why is that?
what
Why
if
do you
this-
feel hopeless?
Because I've already seen so little being done. Like,
So you've chatted with principals, administrators.
I'm up at that school at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Because of the bullying.
And I want change, and I'm up there so often.
Do you feel like because you're up there so often? I mean, I think about myself attending or going to see people often, that they probably think, oh, there she is again, or they're just thinking, here she is again, we'll just hear her and blow her off. I mean, is that something that you sort of feel? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I do. And actually, this week, I was like, I'm going to try a different approach. And I bought the office staff candy. I bought the principal's candy. I was like, I don't want every time somebody sees me to be like, oh God, what is she going to gripe about today? Like, please leave type thing. I don't want that. But I do want them to know that I will advocate for her. But yeah, I do feel like they look at me and like, they're like, oh hell, here we go again. Like,
and that sucks.
It does. It sucks. And I hate that feeling.
Because nobody wants to be that parent, right? Nobody wants to be the parent that is calling the school or emailing and this is my child and this is what's going on. And, but we are responsible for protecting our children.
Yes.
And the fact that, I mean, I'm thinking about my children as well. And I'm thinking, if my child was in school and came home and said that someone has shared that they're going to lure him or her out to the park or to the woods or wherever, lure them out and stab them with a screwdriver, I'm not just going to say, well, I mean, just it's fine. No, I mean, and the reason is because that is all too common these days. Unfortunately, that has happened. And like I shared on the last bullying show, that actually was a story that was on Dateline or 2020 or both of them, that a girl who was best friends with 2 other girls was lured out into the woods, and unfortunately she's no longer here. So very frightening. And
the sad thing about that is more was done on the threat than the actual action one. More was done for the threat. But the actual assault got swept under the rug.
So nothing was done because of that.
If it was a slap on the wrist type thing.
We're going to move on to your daughter. And what is your name?
Emily.
Emily. And Emily, you are in what grade?
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grade. And I want to get back to you, and I'm going to ask you a few more questions. But I want to ask you first, are you afraid to go to school?
Some days I am.
Some days you are? And what makes you afraid?
I just feel like not much was done to the bully, but more was done to me because instead of the bully's spot being changed, I'm sitting alone in my classroom and she's sitting at the table with a whole bunch of other kids. I was the one that was moved.
So you were isolated. Well, I'm sorry for that, because that's not right. And I'm so proud of you for being here. First of all, if I wished you guys could see this fiery redhead, how beautiful she is. You're so beautiful.
Thank
Yes, and how brave you are for being here and speaking out. I commend you for that. I think you're awesome for being here. And my hope and my prayer is that something is changed, something is done about this so that you can go to school and feel good about going to school so that you can get an education that you deserve and that you're able to participate in other activities and not singled out. I feel like you were singled out and moved away from people as opposed to the bully. I'm going to get back to you, but thank you for being here. My next guest, you want to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here?
My name is Keith, and I'm here because we have a nephew in the Johnson County School District. And I just feel like the bullying and some of the other taunts that kids are going through has gotten way out of control, and nobody's actually listening. I think people are protecting their positions. There are great teachers and great administrators, but there are some that would rather turn a blind eye to it than confront the issue with it. And there's a lot of parents who know their child is the culprit and would rather sit back, pat them on the head, and everything move on. And that's just not the way the world is. And if we don't protect these kids that are being hurt, how are they going to go out into the world and be the people that we need them to be productive for the country?
Absolutely. And in fact, you and Cassandra are each other's significant others, and you both have children yourselves.
Yes.
But they are not in, they are homeschooled.
Yes.
And the reason for that is they want to obviously receive a good education. If the unfortunate thing that we're discussing now, nothing is being done about it, why on earth would anyone want to subject their child or send their child to school? The unfortunate thing is that we do not all have the either opportunity or or the capability. Myself, I was going to homeschool my daughter, and I thought I can't. I mean, some of us are just not built or equipped is the word, equipped to homeschool. And so why is that? Why would those be some of the reasons?
That would be some of the reasons, yes. But the other side of the coin as to why we were doing it was to give them a different type of education instead of the classroom. Education hasn't changed since the 50s. We still line them up in classrooms, line them up in rows, and we still teach them the same material. We change it up a little bit, or we teach them toward a standardized test, which doesn't. But this gives us a chance to create a different curriculum, give them different aspects in life to show different views, different points of view. It's for different religions, different arts, and those type of things. You get to interact with so many different types of people.
Yes, I love that. And you're right. And I don't have all the facts or obviously not all the answers, but my sister is a teacher, and the pressure that is, and I know this is kind of going off the subject, but the pressure that is on the teachers for children to pass these standardized tests is can drive someone to drink. It's unbelievable, which then takes the teachers' focus off of things like bullying or being able to, and again, not all teachers, but it may take their focus off of that because they are under so much pressure to meet a number or a quota or whatever it is. All right, I'm going to let you, thank you, Keith, for being here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us why you're here.
Thank you for having me. And my name is Cassandra, and I have been a member of this community as long as I've been alive. And I'm here because I'm sitting across from a mother who's getting tears in her eyes, recalling, the horror stories of things that have happened to her child when she drops her off at school. And those stories are a dime a dozen. I have a unique opportunity to homeschool my children, but that doesn't exclude me from the community. That doesn't mean that your child isn't worth protecting. And so many people are afraid of retaliation through the school system. They say, if we speak out, it gets worse. It gets worse from the administration, and gets worse from the bullies who then retaliate. And we're in a position where we aren't scared of the administration. We aren't scared of the school system, and we are able to stand up for our community and be that voice.
So amazing. Like, I am so grateful for the two of you for being here. Children are not in the school district. Obviously, they're in school. And I love the way that you guys are educating your children, by the way. But you're here because you are members of this community and because you care, obviously, about your family member. And also, you care about the children of our future. And to me, that is, the two of you being here is such a blessing. And I'm just so grateful that you are a part of this community. You guys, it's like people like you that will help us to make a difference. But you have a family member, Cassandra, that unfortunately has experienced some bullying. What kind of bullying have they experienced?
So I think it really goes beyond bullying. It's racially motivated hate speech. It's verbal and physical assaults that if I were to assault you in that manner, the police would be called, charges would be pressed, but children are getting a pass and people are saying, well, toughen your kid up. Well, that doesn't work. I have a friend who's a former Marine who's homeschooling their kids because of bullying. You're going to tell a former Marine that you don't know about being tough? For my family, it's like the other members in the community who aren't here today to speak up for their kids because they're afraid, and it's the same situation. If your heart is so hardened, like Keith said earlier, that you would drop your kids off at school knowing that they don't feel safe because you have no other choice for their education, what are we doing for their self-worth, for their dignity, for valuing who they are as a human being? Because we're telling them you're not worth protecting. That this piece of paper that you're going to get after 13 years is more important than how you feel when you wake up in the morning. And
that's why I'm shocked that there are not more parents here. I mean, yes, we as parents that are not able to homeschool our children. Yes, the fact that we're dropping our children off, I'm surprised, like we all said, that there's not a line outside of this radio station. Where are the parents that want to protect? Maybe your child's not being bullied. Okay, maybe you are a parent whose child is not being bullied. We are a community. We are, if we are to be the United States of America who stand beside one another and who are fighting for one another, where are you? Where are you? My children, like I said, are no longer in school, but I'm here for the children. I am here for the parents. I'm here that this platform be used so that voices can be heard, so that changes can be made. Maybe they're not going to be made, because of my radio show, but my gosh, I thought that there would be, like you guys said, lines outside this radio station where maybe the fact that hundreds of parents and hundreds of students would be here so that there would be a change. And it saddens me because hey, if you want to call in, I'm going to give you the number to the radio station and maybe you can explain or enlighten me as to where are you? Why are you not here? The number to call 817-637-2585. Please, I would love to hear from you. But share a little bit about the bullying that has happened to this family member or friend.
So our family member has been called the N-word numerous times by numerous students. They've had bananas shoved in their face. They've been told to go back to their country, meaning Africa. Some of these attacks took place directly in front of administration. And yes, that child was punished under those circumstances. But then we were told that, and this is really sad, we were told that parent doesn't care. They don't care how their child does in school. They're failing all their classes. They're not involved in anything. There's nothing for us to do because this kid is they basically told us that he has no future.
And so, as we were pre-interviewing, what are your parents? What is your perspective? What is your point of view? If a child, and Keith made a really good point earlier, I'm going to let you state it again. But if a parent is told, well, listen, your child's bully, their parents don't care. Their parents also probably would say, well, they don't really have a future either. I mean, my child doesn't have a future. I mean, it's whatever. What are your thoughts behind that?
There's a social contract in a community. When you go into public, you treat people with human decency and dignity and respect. And if you can't do that, then it's the community's job to say, you're not welcome here. And that's something that you and I had discussed, is saying, why aren't we publicly shaming these parents? Why aren't we making their lives as uncomfortable as our children are being made?
And that's a good point. And you also made another good point in terms of discipline. So maybe a student the bully is put in ISS or suspension or whatnot. The other really good option, and maybe a school administrator, someone is listening, is maybe the bully be taken out. And a blessing in disguise was that our students were at home during the season of COVID when it was at its peak.
Yeah, we know that in-person public education is not the only option now. And if your child cannot, cooperate within the social contract to be a decent person, then maybe they need to be removed from the situation. Why is it okay for another child to be hurt, to lose their lives, to lose their self-worth and value, so that your child can go to a public place? It's disgraceful.
It is. Or so that a child that is being bullied be singled out and separated from the group at a table by themselves, where the bully is sitting with their peers. That's almost bullying themselves. I mean, that's like bullying, and that just makes it almost seem like, okay, well, you're the problem, and so I'm going to move you over here. Maybe that was a way of protecting.
No,
but
it's
really,
victim blaming.
It is. And so the bully needs to be removed. And how awesome would it, how lucky are they? How lucky are they? Not awesome. How lucky are they to be able to still receive an education, but virtually? You need to be removed and you need to go home, where our children are able to come to school where they feel safe and that they are safe. So many options, so many things can be done. Keith, what is your perspective behind the fact that teachers, or not teachers, but principals, administrators say, well, that child got a lot going on. They have issues at home. The parents really don't care. So there's really not much we can do.
Well, there's several things. The first side is on the side of the parent whose child is being bullied. When they drop their child off at 6 a.m, 7 a.m, for that 8-hour day that they're going to be receiving education, a couple hours for extracurricular during sports or whatever, that's 10 hours a day that you're giving them your most prized asset. It's not your money, it's not your stocks, it's not your cars, it's your child. And you're expected to protect them within that confines of that. And if that's not happening, you fail. Period. The end. And if you're writing that child off right now, either we're not doing enough to contact the right people to come and get that child the help he needs, whether it be mental health, whether it be some different structure, whether it means child protective services, whatever it is, we need to have somebody in that child's life to intervene. Nobody is worthless in this community.
That's right.
Nobody. I don't care if you have a handicap, a birth defect, wounded in combat, whatever it is, everybody has value. Every human being has value. And that's missing right now. And I think kids going to school and having to be in a fight. They didn't sign up to join the military. They didn't sign up to be in a war. They just going to school to learn to live in society, to get an education, to figure out where they want to be in the world. They want to be an artist, a doctor, a lawyer. They're just getting the groundwork. And as parents, we're giving them this construct, whether it be through homeschooling, public schooling, private schooling, if you can afford it, whatever the avenue is that's afforded to us, we're using it. And they should be safe in those confines. And if they're not, it's up to the administration or the people above the administration or the people writing the laws to deal with it.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back. And I want to chat with Tish and with her daughter. We'll be back.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
We're back. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 days a year on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and iOS devices. Simply search for your store, check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more is brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEXHAIL. That's 844-839-4245. I'm hoping that anyone that is listening is able to comment. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see some of the questions or comments that you have messaged me on. If you could, okay, I'm getting a screenshot of some of the messages that I'm not seeing online. So I'm going to look and check this out. I can only read some of this. It says, my opinion is the discipline made to understand that your actions will not be tolerated. No little slap on the hand or soft-spoken words. Make it clear and understanding that this will not be accepted. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can see it here. Anyway, we're back, and I want to continue. If you're listening, and Mike Ross, if you're listening and you want to make those comments again, I want to see if I'm able to see them. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing it on our stream here. We're back, and I want to chat with Tish for a second about the benefit that you went to at the spice rack, what it was, what it was, why it was being held, and who it was for?
I don't know the exact family it was for, but it was a local family that recently lost a child due to suicide because of bullying. The benefit did really well. Overall, they raised over $8,000. So it's just sad that it had to come to all
Absolutely.
that when it could have been prevented.
Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. The fact that there's benefits and things going on to help families because they've lost their children to suicide. Like, you think about benefits for raising money for children or families with cancer, or, you know, a house catches on fire and they lose everything. And that's how community you would see come together to help benefit the family. The fact
Nobody
that there
should
was
have to bury their own child, especially when
exactly.
it could have been prevented. And
that's what this is
had the
about.
Bully's been called out, and
Yes.
I mean, it breaks my heart that kids think that that's the only way out.
Right.
Which is what the school system is painting the picture. Like, we can't help you. Like, I mean,
Exactly. And
they're
that's
painting
so
that picture.
sad. And it's very scary as a parent to, when you do have to drop, you know, your child off. And like Cassandra was saying, you know, your child's in school for 8 hours, possibly 10, 11 hours due to extracurriculars. And then they come home and then they go to bed and they're sleeping. And so we as parents are with our children during the school year for very limited amounts of time. And like you said, you know, it's almost like it's okay, like bullying is okay, or like kids are feeling like it's okay. And because they are not mature enough to understand how to navigate through some feelings that they're feeling, but also because they are in school and no one's doing anything about it, then they get to a point that they feel like no one's going to help me. There's no way out, you know. And so that is why we are here, and that is why a change needs to be made.
Yes.
All right, I want to move to your sweet daughter, Emily. Emily, when you are, unfortunately, when you are in your classroom and you see your bully, I mean, are you in school with the bully all day long, every single class, or is it just one class?
It's 2 classes that I'm with her in.
It's 2 classes that you're with her. And do you see her in the hall, or?
I see her in the hall sometimes.
And does she bully you every single day? I mean, is there?
She'll I've noticed she'll say stuff purposely right in front of me, and she'll look at me funny and because she doesn't want to talk to me because she'll know I'll tell somebody. But she does little things like that.
Like one of the comments, she walked past to go to the bathroom and knew it was directed towards her. The bully said, "I think your mom's on drugs," talking about me, knowing that she would hear it.
And the reason I know I think it was directed towards me is because I thought I heard her say something like that when I walked in, and then they just started going back to their normal conversation, and then randomly out of the blue brought it up when I walked out.
So you say they are there. I mean, I know that there's that one specific bully, but does that bully have a group of friends that also kind of say things to you?
Yeah, they talk about me sometimes behind my back. And I think that the teachers have shown them that it's okay because, like I said, like an example, I was moved. I was all by myself in a corner, and that just other people are looking at that and saying, "Oh, okay, so that's okay to do that, right?" And then they start doing things like that.
Absolutely, it almost gives them permission. Like you said, it makes them think, "Oh, well, it's fine." And so, I'm going to ask you a hard question. Okay. How does it make you feel? How does what they say to you or do to you? I know it doesn't make you feel good, but how does it make you feel? How does it make Emily feel?
It makes me feel like there's no reason for me to be there. I feel like nobody wants me there or something like that, and it just makes me feel upset.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Well, you're wanted. You matter. You are smart. You're beautiful. You are intelligent. You deserve an education, and you deserve for your voice to be heard. And I understand that you and your mom and some other parents went to a board meeting, and that when you got up to share in front of everybody, in front of the board, was anything said to you? Did anybody say anything to you? Any of the adults?
Nobody said anything to me. I honestly think they had their mind made up on what their response was going to be to us talking before we even stood up there and started speaking. I think that they already had their mind made up that they weren't gonna let us do what we asked for.
Were you the only student that got up and spoke? Mm-hmm. And so, Mom, what meeting, if you can, or if you need a minute,
No, I'm good.
What meeting was this?
The board meeting. It was the most recent board meeting we had. That, like you said, she said, they didn't seem to really care.
And did they listen to you as an adult?
It didn't seem like they did.
Nobody said anything.
The superintendent looked down the whole time, and I guess was writing things or pretending to write things. I mean,
but nobody acknowledged your existence or presence.
No. And me as an adult, that's fine. You don't want to acknowledge me there, that's fine. But when a student tells you there's issues and she doesn't feel safe, then at least acknowledge her.
Mm-hmm.
Because like they've said, this is our future.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge her.
Mm-hmm. Acknowledge her existence, acknowledge her feelings. Were you going to say something, Emily?
Yeah, I was gonna say when they do things like that, they don't look up, don't acknowledge. It makes other people. I think it'll make other people that are being bullied kind of back down and not want to say stuff because they feel like they're just gonna get judged. And
wow, yeah. And so with that, when a child feels like might as well not even say anything because nobody's listening to me, because nobody cares, because nobody's going to do anything, then comes the worst, feeling worthless, feeling not valued, depression, other things like that. One of the parents whose daughter was here the last time we were on, she pulled her out of school and she is homeschooling her. And she actually had to take her to a therapist, which, when you think about it, then wouldn't have happened. So now her daughter is seeing a therapist and considering medication, and, which is something that if she were attending a school where she felt safe, where action was being taken, she wouldn't, number one, have to be pulled out of school, and the other have to see a therapist, and the other have to be put on medication. That's so ridiculous.
And I will say this too. Her bully from the last time is also that other girl's bully. They're connected. We figured it out. But yet she's not considered a bully.
And then the other mom had also said that she went to the school, talked to the principal, and wanted the bully's parents' information, but she couldn't get it because it was private. She's protected under a privacy, whatever it is. She could not get the parents' information.
Right. I just can't help but recall all the comments and even close friends of ours who have said, I was bullied and I turned out okay, or my kids are really happy there, or teach your kid to toughen up. And to anybody who's listening out there, I see the bravest young lady here who, like you said, she is gorgeous. And she showed up to talk on a radio show when adults who had made a commitment to come weren't able to follow through because of their fears. And I'm not parent shaming anyone. And again, that's why it's important to Keith and I, because we don't have to have that fear. And I am just so impressed by your bravery and coming forth. And I know that you're going to have some really great, bright things in your future, but you matter right now too. It's not just your future. What's going on right now is important, and it matters, and you need to be seen and you need to be heard. So I commend you.
Thank you.
And one of the comments that was messaged to me is to give that sweet, beautiful girl a hug and a kiss for me. And he wants to know that I see you. He sees you and he acknowledges you. So this is just a parent that said that they care about you and that they see you, and for mama to give you a big hug and a kiss. Oh my gosh. This is just, it's heartbreaking to me.
I wonder if people think that people are exaggerating, if parents and students are exaggerating, if it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. Someone threatened to stab your daughter with a screwdriver. That sounds pretty horrific and terrifying as a parent. That would be my worst nightmare, that when I'm trying to prepare my child for the future and give them the best possible chance, that they're not safe. I know I've said this before, but I don't understand why the community wants to say, well, it's not my family. It's not my kid. Because that is my kid.
Yeah.
And that's my sister, and I never met her until tonight, but she's a human being. She's flesh and blood.
Absolutely.
And we even asked her, why didn't you go to the office when you were assaulted in class? She's like, because they won't do anything. She felt safer going to the bathroom and hiding than going to talk to authorities.
If authority isn't going to help them, a lot of people shy away from it. So it just goes further. If you have an abusive boss or an abusive relationship, we're not showing them how to deal with it and go get help, because the help isn't there right now. And if the people that are in charge don't want to be helped, they should really think about resigning and let somebody get in there that really wants to help the kids and cares about, it's about their grades, it's about their education, and it's even about that test. But at the end of the day, it's about their future and their lives.
What good is an education if your child has no quality of life?
Exactly. And then what happens to those who are unable to receive an education because they are spending their days in school afraid, fearful, can't concentrate, can't focus because they're afraid of who's in the classroom with them, because they are being singled out, separated. One of the things that you said earlier, Keith, was that our leaders should lead and be willing to take a hit for the community. And that is so true, that, you know, if leaders are remaining in a leadership position or role because they are in a group of, you know, friends, or they've been in this role or position or on the board or whatever for years and years, and people are afraid to vote them out and to let people in that are actually for the parents, for the children. What does that say? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, what can we do?
It says fear wins first. Fear is winning. Because if you step up and say something and you don't stay in your lane per se, you're rocking the boat that's been that boat for X amount of decades. We're not talking about years. This is not new. This is how this has been handled. And it's time for a change. The people are changing. The demographics are changing. And people need to go vote those people in and ask hard questions. Don't just say, okay. I personally went on to the Facebook page of people running in our area, and I've asked them questions about bullying. It's quiet. Nothing but crickets. They don't respond. They just move on. So those are the people I know I'm personally not voting for.
Yes. Yes.
So, and that's where you got to start. If they don't want to answer your question, that's not the person you want to talk to.
That's a very good point. And so I would invite any board member of Johnson County, Tarrant County, wherever, to come join me on my show so that we can ask you questions. If you are for our children, if you are for our community, so please, if anyone is listening, please share, because I want to extend a personal invitation to anybody that is on the board to come and answer those questions for us. I want to know.
And that's a great point. We were talking about parents not being here. Where are the people in charge? They're not here either to talk about this issue. And their phone is blowing up every day from different parents. Why aren't they here to say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to fix it?
Yes.
They really are hiding from the problem. Like he said earlier, we have tried to talk to the school administrators. We've tried to go to the superintendents, and they won't let you have appointments.
Our superintendent, like I've emailed, and they give my email to other people. And I'm like, I don't give you permission to give my email out. I want a meeting with you and you alone. Nothing. The only time I get a response is basically short and sweet and, oh, well, somebody will get with you.
That's a tactic too. Like they're weaponizing their incompetence against their community. They shuffle you around. They tell you to leave a voicemail. They say they'll get back to you. And then you just fall off of the radar. And
it's funny because I've used this phone forever, even contacting them. And they've contacted me on this phone. But this last time they're contacting my house cell phone, which I never carry. Half the time it's not plugged in or charged. Why are they all of a sudden conveniently calling a different number? Like when this is the one we've been communicating with.
And are they not responding to email?
Not anymore, no. And I'm trying a different tactic. I'm trying to be nicer about this. I'm like, what I'm doing isn't working. Like, I don't know what to do. I know I want it fixed, but I don't know how to fix it. Like, I'm emailing the superintendent.
Gone to the police station?
I've gone to the police station. I've contacted with the chief of school, which I still don't really know what that role's for.
You've gone to meetings, board meetings?
I've gone to board meetings. I've gone to countless principals. Like we've gone through 3 principals or assistant principals now. I'm up at the school so much that I practically should get a paycheck. But nothing is getting done.
Emily, tell me what you want to say.
I think the reason why they're just like not answering anything and not replying to emails is they just want to sweep things under the rug. They don't want to like make a big deal out of it. They don't want to deal with it. They just want to do their job, get paid, and go home. I don't think there's anybody that actually is in it for the kids and wants them to like get a good education.
You know what? That's such a good point. But and my thought is, if you're doing a good job, because when you say they just want to do their job and get a paycheck and go home, they're not doing their job. They should not get a paycheck.
What they look at is these children are a paycheck.
Yes. Yes.
It's not that they matter. It's just the more kids they get in a school, the more they get paid.
And the more they're in attendance in regular school, the more funding comes through.
And I think that's where we lose a lot of support from the community because they have a personal relationship with their child's teacher and they say, oh, well, we've had this wonderful experience. And that's amazing. And I'm so genuinely happy for that family. But I can't ignore my neighbor's house that's on fire just because my house isn't on fire.
Yes.
Do these parents have nothing better to do? You had nothing better to do with your Monday night than come out here and talk about bullying? Or is your daughter making these things up? Are these lies? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. Like we keep saying, where is our community?
I don't know. It makes me sad.
It would be easier just to step back and be like, well, just avoid those people. But it doesn't solve the problem for her or her kids or her kids or anybody's kids. It's
Mhm.
not going to solve itself if I just take the easy way out. I mean, it would be so much easier to sit on the couch eating popcorn, watching a movie.
And think, oh, well, I mean, there's nothing I
Yeah,
can do.
there's nothing I can do, but I'm fighting. Like,
Or it's always been this way. It'll always
Yeah.
be this way. Well, yeah, with that mentality, of course it will.
Well, I don't want anybody to go bury another kid. I've been to those funerals. I don't want anybody to go through that pain. That's
I can't even imagine. Like, it terrifies me to feel like she feels not wanted. That breaks my heart.
Have you heard her say that before?
I haven't.
No. And I can see that when she said that, that is what really got to you. And Emily, before we have about 4 minutes, and I want to tell you, you've done all the right things, going to your teachers, telling your teachers, telling the principal, telling someone. Those are the right things to do, regardless if your friends or not your friends, but those children that are saying she's just going to tell or whatever. You're doing the right thing. So keep telling. What would you say to some other child that is also getting bullied? What would you tell them?
I would probably say that I've gone through what you're going through, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of their kids too. And you could go to administration if you really want to, but honestly, I think your parents are the best choice to go to, because I don't think if I haven't told my mom, nothing would happen. Like I said, it'd be swept under the rug, but instead I decided to go out and actually tell somebody once I realized that administration wasn't doing anything. And I think that going to somebody who you trust and you really love, because I know they love you and they'll want to do something about it.
Absolutely. They're the ones that'll fight for you and keep on and on and on and on. Do you have any closing comments for us, Cassandra, Keith?
Let's not be silent. Any parent out there that has a child going through this, don't sit in silence. Don't worry about the retaliation. Don't worry about the people that don't count. Because the people that do count are right there in front of you. They're the people. These are your children.
What I don't want to see is my family member called me a keyboard warrior. And that's what I don't want. I don't want to see slacktivism. I don't want to see everybody on Facebook who's willing to comment and post things and talk about it on social media. But then when it comes to an opportunity to actually meet an audience and get your message out there, like this moment right here, and then people don't show up.
And you saying that and me offering the platform, I almost feel like you do, Tish. Like nobody's listening. Where's the support? But we're not going to stop. And I know that you're not going to stop. I know that you have had days where they've been bad days and you're just thinking, that thought has crossed your mind and what's the point? But then I can see you're a fighting mama and you're right back in there, and you have a Facebook page. And what is the Facebook page called that people can come and join that are listening?
Communities United Against Bullying.
And it's all communities. It's not just
Johnson
Burleson County.
It's wherever.
Thank you for being that mom. Thank you, Cassandra and Keith, for coming and fighting for our community. Thank you, Emily, for being a brave, beautiful young girl and coming and sharing and using your voice. Yeah, let's clap. Thank you for coming. Hey, you guys have a good night. We'll see you next week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grand